my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sue of Bendnstretch with Sue. In today's video, I'm taking you through a Pilates practice that I recently did on Zoom live with my students. And this one, we incorporated some weights. And with that, make sure that you listen to your body, use the weight selection that fits best for you. They're primarily light weights, and if you use no weights at all, you just use your own resistance, you can still do this workout and get magnificent results out of it. So let's get going now. If you haven't already, make sure that you do subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I upload new content, and you can check it out. Check me out in the next video. Making sure that you have a nice big handprint is going to give you more stability. It's also going to help you to kind of distribute your weight more evenly and adding to that stability. So make sure you just press through the tops of your feet, reaching the head forward and just following your breath, your movement, starting that movement each time right from the tailbone and feeling each and every muscle stretching in the trunk of the body especially, but you're really going to feel this in the pelvis as you continue to tip the pelvis forward and back. We'll do one more, and then we're going to come back to table. So reset here. If you need to come down on your forearms at any point, you can go ahead and do this. We're just going to make some circular movements here. I find that always nicely warms through the hips, through the lower back. We want to also become very attuned to having engagement in the powerhouse. So those low abdominal muscles are really supporting your back. Now as you come back to the center, reset, breathe in and then breathe out, going the other way. So again, it's nice and smooth and rounded. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth is going to be really helpful to relax your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, so that you get tension in the areas that you need it. Bring it back to the middle, and from here, let's take the hands over to the right edge of the mat, as far away from you as you can, keeping hips at first over your knees, and then pressing them back as you bring the ears in alignment with your upper arms, belly, chest, moving toward the floor. As you come back up again, let's walk the hands over to the other side. Same thing, walking them away and pushing the hips back, melting belly, chest toward your mat. Let's walk those hands back in again. Let's get the wrists warmed up a little bit more, turning the fingers out to the sides. A little bit of a wagging of your tail here from side to side, which helps to kind of shift the weight around a little bit through the heel of the hand, the base of the thumbs, pads of the fingers. Come back to the center, turn the hands more inward if that's available to you. So if not, you just do what is available and just work with that. From here, we just ease the hips back a little bit, getting those wrists warmed up. Bring it back as you turn the fingers forward. You can turn the top of your hand down, and you could just use one hand here at a time, or you might be able to do both hands. If you're doing one at a time, just right now you'd want to switch and press the top of the other hand down. Try to, again, loosen up into the neck area, shoulders, tuck the toes under, and come on back to sitting on your heels, taking a big breath to stretch through the chest, reaching those hands away from you, a little bit of a lean back here, and then swan dive the arms down, taking them to the top of your mat, moving forward into a half plank position. You can do it for your knees, from your knees as we're starting. You can go right to the toes if you like, lower yourself down here, and stretch the tops of your feet, lengthen the legs, reach the head forward, still inhale, to lift yourself up, sliding those shoulders down, press from the knees and push back into a nice extended puppy pose. Breathe in, come on forward again. Exhale, come on down. Breathe in to open up, breathe out to take it back. Tuck the toes under, move into a downward dog. You can once again kind of shift the hips a little bit side to side as we warm up the backs of the legs, intending the heel toward the floor. And really, if you're able to get your heel down to the floor, see if you can lift your toes up away from the floor. So that really will help you to deepen the stretch. If you're not getting the heel down, then that's okay. You just work with what you've got. Just feel yourself stretching, getting a little looser, a little longer. As you move from your downward dog into a high plank, aligning yourself here. Take a breath in, roll into the tops right where the toes connect into your foot. Press it back, push through those heels. Come on forward again and back, keeping those hips nicely aligned. And from here, let's take it forward. Inhale, exhale, lower yourself back down again. Press into those hands, lift the collarbones, the heart forward and upward, and take it back again. Come back to your downward dog, lift your right leg up, and draw the knee in to step that foot to the top of the mat. Bring your back knee down. So we're just warming up the hips in this one, stretching into those hip flexors, challenging the balance a little bit as well as you open up through your heart. And you can maybe bring the hands behind the back here, interlacing to open up your chest. Breathe in, lift the chest a little bit more forward and upward, and then release. Shake out those arms and slide that leg back. Let's take it back to a downward dog. Reach through your other leg and draw the knee in, step the foot forward. Same thing here. So you're going to maybe feel a difference from one side to the other, as we tend to have one side that's a little tighter. So we want to balance it out as best as we can before we really start loading ourselves up with work. Again, take a big breath in, open up through the chest, then bring the hands behind your back once again. So getting a good stretch in the front of your body. We tend to be tight in those chest muscles. So lifting the heart forward and upward, lifting the hands maybe a little bit more away from your back. Let's release it, step it back to a downward dog. And from here, grounding through those hands, taking it forward into a high plank. Now, get your hips in alignment. If you had yoga blocks, you could use them to prop your hands up a little bit higher. You could also do this up against a wall, but we're going to come into some mountain climbers to get the heart rate up a little bit here. So from here, make sure that you don't start popping your hips up. Keep the belly drawn in. We're going to bring the knee in, step it out, in and out. So we're working opposite, and see if you can pick up the tempo a little bit here, keeping your shoulders above your wrists, keeping your hips nicely aligned as you run it out. So get it going, get the blood pumping here, the heart pumping as you alternate side to side, running those legs in. We're going to do another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take it back. Downward facing dog. Breathe and stretch it out. Press the heart through, lift your right leg up, and draw the knee in to step that right foot forward. We bring the knee down, and you're going to reach for either a light or a medium weight. I'm going to go with a medium one. You can switch it up if you need to. You're going to lift up in your lunge, keeping the hips square as you lift the elbow and draw it back down again. So lift and draw it down. Now make sure that you keep that elbow moving close. I'm just going to turn so that you are not flaring it out to the side, but you're trying to keep it tucked nice and close
to your body. So you're drawing it in toward the midline of your body. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, in order not to compromise my form, I'm going to release the medium weight, pick up a lighter weight. So these are 2-pound weighted balls. I'm going to bring that elbow back and tuck it in and reach. Bend and straighten. So the idea is to really keep that upper arm nice and still as I work from the elbow. So also the shoulder here. You want to make sure that shoulder is not starting to move back and forth. You want to keep stillness in your torso so that you are working that tricep, working that upper arm. Now the next time we extend it, hold it here, hold it. Again, make sure that shoulder is staying in line. Let's pulse it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. Come on onto the knees, roll out your shoulders a little bit here. Take a nice big stretch. Bring your same arm down, placing that hand between your shoulder blades, and slide the other hand on the elbow to give it a nice stretch. I might have shocked that arm a little bit. As you release it, let's shrug the shoulders, let it go. Come on back to your downward dog. Let's lift the left leg or opposite leg of the one that you just had in front. Step it forward, bring the back knee down, and once again, reaching for your weight of choice. So if you start out with a heavy weight and you feel it's a little too much, then just drop it. And we're just coming into a nice, easy row here, tricep row. As we keep that tricep tucked nice and close to your body, lifting the elbow high, but keeping the movement smooth. So you don't want to kind of throw it up there, jerk it up. You want to glide it up. So there's absolute control of those muscles. Again, pay attention to your breath. That's going to help you to make sure the jaw stays relaxed and you turn your shoulders and neck. So last one right here. I'm going to switch up the weight, going with a lighter one as I press firmly into that front heel, lift the elbow, and then extend the arm out. So bend and reach, bend and reach. So again, try not to twist your body as you do this movement. We're really focusing on, if you do have a mirror handy, and keep going here, I have to let somebody in, just have a doorbell ringing. If you do have a mirror or a window or something that you could be looking into, that might be a good way to ensure that you're staying honoring to your form. Now, as you hold it up the next time, you're going to hold it here and you're just going to pulse it out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down, set it aside, and come onto the knees. Reach the arms up, take that same arm, same hand between the shoulder blades, and stretch that tricep. Move it down the back. Breathe and release. Nice shoulder roll. Let's get ready to move on to our next move. Now we're going to bring the focus into the legs here as we take one of the weights. So you can have your light, medium weight, and if you've got a dumbbell, it's probably a little bit easier to kind of tuck it in behind your knee. I find the weighted ball works too because it's squishy. But as you align yourself, make sure you're not collapsing into your shoulders. So you want to keep that upper back nice and broad, some softness in the elbow so you don't hyperextend, and then we're going to lift and lower. Keeping that tummy nice and strong. Powerhouse, always keeping you honest when it comes to your alignment and your form. So when you lift up here, you are always keeping both of your hip bones facing the floor. They're never twisting to the side. It's all about the control in that glute you're working right now as well as the hamstring. Great for developing those hamstrings, especially because you're squeezing and you're holding on to your weight. Let's bring it back down and take it to the side and close. Lift and close. So this is fire hydrant. Always a favorite among the children that I teach. I love doing this pose. Also usually throw in a few sound effects as well. And we've got another 5. 4 more. 3, 2. If your forearms or hands are getting tired, wrists getting tired, you can always come down on your forearms to do the other side. So we're just going to release that weight right now. Take the hands forward, tuck the toes under, lift it up into downward dog. Once again, enjoy the stretch. Try to keep your hands light in this, give them a break. So really focus on using your core to bring your weight into your feet. Press your heart through. Keep that upper back nice and broad. Give your head a little turn, a little shake, yes, no. And then bring it back to your hands and knees when you are ready. So here as well, we're going to pick up that weight, slide it in behind the knee, get a good squeeze as you tuck it in there, flexing the ankle, or you could point, you could alternate it. We are going to flexing the ankle and pulling the heel in is really going to give you a sense of engaging that hamstring. From here, again, powerhouse on, lifting and lowering. And it's really important that because your powerhouse is on, you're aware of keeping those hips level. And so it's not so important to go really high, because if you go up higher, what might happen is you start to get a little bit of play in your lower back. We don't want that. We want to keep that lower back nice and stable. So we're training those large muscles like the glutes, the hamstrings, to do the work rather than throwing our back into it. So by training our muscles, they'll be more functionally available to you as well. So the next time we lower it down, we take a little wee pause before we go out to the side. So open and close, resisting any temptation to start collapsing in your shoulders. So just because you're getting tired, don't let that happen. You want to stay very aware through the entire trunk. And as you lift that leg out to the side, also you don't want to be leaning away in the other side. That can be easy to have happen also, especially if you don't have the strength yet. So do less if you need to, take some breaks, but really while you're here, while you're doing it, you want to be centered. So a few more reps on this side. Let's do 3 more. 2, one last one, and bring it in. From here, you can set that way aside as well. Let's take it to a downward dog once again. A little bit of pedaling it out here from side to side. And as we slowly walk the hands in toward the feet, melt down. Let yourself enjoy some traction in your spine. You can give your head a little bit of a turn here as well, just like you did in your downward dog. I always like taking hands to opposite elbow because it just increases the traction and it makes the stretch feel that much deeper, so you get a sense of really creating some separation in the spine. So great for the recovery as the fluid, the blood flow all moves in there. And when you're ready, you can start to unroll yourself. You can stay down there a little longer if you like to have the recovery fit exactly what works best for you. So let's take a big stretch here, add a little back bend, and then bring the hands to your heart center. So from here, we're going to pick up some of the let's pick up one of the heavier weights that you have available. If you do not have heavy ones, you might want to double up and use 2 lighter ones or 2 medium ones. But from here, we're going to bring the feet just slightly outside of the hips. And we're coming into goblet squat. So you're not going super wide, you're just slightly out of the hips, but make sure your toes are turned out so that they point in the same direction as your knees as you bend and straighten. So taking your time, exploring your range here as you keep your chest lifted and you've got plenty, most of the weight is focused in your heels, even though you want to keep a strong connection in the balls of the feet, as well as the pads of your toes, but that back portion, the heels, they're firm and they're really, really pressing down. They're really anchored into your mat. Breathing in when it's easy, breathing out when you are working harder. So we really get that blood flowing in those legs. And come on up. You can set the weight aside and roll out the shoulders. You can add a little bit of sway here from side to side. And we're going to come right back to the same exercise. So we really want to get those legs strong. So as you get yourself in position, keep the heart nice and lifted. Inhale at the top. Exhale, sink it down. Explore your range. So it should feel okay for the knees. So make sure that you adjust yourself. If you do need to take it a little wider to make it more comfortable for your knees, go ahead. If you need to make it more shallow and just gradually work on getting more depth, do that. Or if you need to drop the weights, do that as well. So better to be kinder to your body so that it continues to serve you, and gradually over time you can add on to it. So let's finish it up with another 2. One more. And bring it up. And place the weight down. You can shake up the legs a little bit here. Pump out the arms a little bit. And let's get right back at it. So same stance. Picking up your weight. Soften through the knees. Inhale. Exhale and sink. Maybe you find that on this 3rd set, you're able to take it down lower. Breathe in, breathe out. Taking your time to really feel those muscles at work. Taking your time to make sure your breathing is fueling you. That's your energy, it's that oxygen coming in, but you have to make sure that you're breathing out to make more room for that incoming energy and oxygen. So let's finish up with another 3, 2, last one. Hold it here, hold it. Let's pulse it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And straighten the legs, set that weight aside. Shake up the legs a little bit. Pump out the arms. A little bit of sway as you lift the heel of the opposite direction that you're twisting in away from the mat. And let's go right back into the work. So now I'm going to go with my medium weights for this next one. And you're going to bring the feet wider apart this time, but we're going to turn the heels out a little bit. So you want to have the outer edges of your feet parallel to the outer edges of your mat. And from here, we're going to bring the weights to the heart, or just to the shoulders, sorry, as you bend one leg and bring your weight in there. Tuck your tailbone, reach the arms up, extend, and switch to the other side. So reach it up. Again, be cautious with the knees here. Make sure that you're really engaging full contact in the inside and outside edges of both feet. So use that center as an opportunity to breathe in. Exhale, come to the side. Keep it going, side to side. So probably starting to feel quite a bit of heat in the body at this stage. That's all good. And we've got 2 more on each side. Maintain that contact through the feet and keeping your torso nice and aligned, especially as you reach upward. Last one, reach it up, bring it down and step it in. From here, I'm going to move to my latest weights, and we're going to move through a front and side raise. So we're just going to keep our feet underneath the hips for this one. So you're not doing anything with your legs. So we're just going to focus on the upper body. So be sure to brace your core here. So pelvic floor is lifted, low belly is engaged. There's a slight tuck to your tailbone. Your shoulders are over your hips, your ears over your shoulders. Posture is so important. So think of this as a beautiful dancer's type stance as you bring the weights to the sides as we begin. And take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to lift the left arm forward, right arm out to the side, and bring it over to the other side. So alternating it, side to side. So keeping that body nice and still. What happens sometimes when you're working arms is you may tend or have kind of a tendency to start to sway with the arm movement, kind of swinging. We want to resist that. So you want to keep your body perfectly still so that the arms are doing the work, the shoulders are doing the work here. Side to side. And let's do another 2 again on each side. One more. And bring it down and release that. Now I'm going to move to my heaviest weight. As I forgot to mention earlier, hopefully you have a wall nearby. If not, you could always modify it with a squat and stick to a lighter weight. But coming into a wall sit. So you're going to bring your bottom and your back up against the wall. You're going to bend your knees, so you may have to walk your feet away more. And you want to keep your knees in alignment with your hips. You're pressing the back of your head, shoulder blades into the floor. So try to get those knees and hips aligned as best as you can. And from here, we're going to come into alternate curls. So you're reaching that left arm, right arm towards your left shoulder and bring it down and switch. So side to side. So you're reaching across the body here. And you're really concentrating on the lower body, but hopefully what you're doing in the upper body helps you to forget about your lower body for a while. Breathing in, breathing out. And let's do another 2 each side. One more on each side. And finish it right here. Come on up. Walk those legs in and set your weights aside once more. From here, we are going to give the legs a little stretch for a moment. You can do a quad stretch here as you challenge your balance. Tuck your tail, point your knee down, pull your heel towards you. Same thing on the other side. You can reach for that foot. If you can't reach your foot, pant leg's always a good option. Or you could just put that foot on a nearby chair or even against the wall to help you to stretch the front of that thigh, hip flexor. Taking it back to the long edge of your mat. And from here, I'm going to pick up my medium weight. And I'm just going to hold them at the heart as I bring the feet wider apart now. Toes are turned out. We're getting ready to come into sumo squat. Take an inhale as you exhale. Bend and hold. We're going to lift the right heel, left heel, both heels. Bring them down and straighten the legs. Bend, right, left, both. Bring them down and straighten. So we're going to keep this going. Lifting the heels, keeping the body as still as you can. So it's a great challenge for your balance. I think I skipped the left heel there, went right for the doubles. So pace yourself. Again, omit what you need to omit to serve you and your body in the best way possible for what it needs today. Bend, lift, lift, lift them both. We've got another 4 of these. Lift, left, both. Bring them down and straighten. 3 more, thank goodness. Sink, lift, lift, lift them both. Bring them down. 2 more. Lift, lift, both. Final 1. Sink it down. Lift, lift, doubles. Bring them down and straighten. Bring those legs back in once again. Continuing on with your medium or lightweight, I would recommend. You're going to be stepping back here and stepping to the side. So make sure you have enough room as we step back into a lunge, reaching the arms back, bringing them forward, and stepping out to the side. Bringing those weights up, lunge it back, reach back, and step it in, step it out, and back to the center. So we have 3 more. We're doing 5 on each side, testing the balance, which will test the strength as you continue to develop not only your core muscles, arms and legs, going along for the ride. Last one. And bring it in, step it down. Just a moment to think about it. Not much more than that. As you take a step back with the opposite leg into your lunge and step it forward. Bring it out and bend. Bring it in, step it back, and lift out to the side. And bring it in, bring it back. So we've got 3 more. Two more from here. So as you start to compound these movements, you really have to be cautious that you remain in an alignment that never sacrifices your joints. Last one. You want to be aware of your movement always, even though you're kind of confusing the muscles a little bit. So you can set your weights aside here. Once again, we're going to take it into a nice stretch. So turning the toes out slightly, we're going to turn the one set of toes completely to the side, sinking into it, taking a nice long side angle stretch. Breathe in, enjoy. Take the hand behind your head here. Turn, look up to the sky. Great rotation in the trunk. To deepen your twist, reach it up, and come on up. Turn those toes diagonally again. Turning, and the opposite foot, so those toes are turned forward. We're going to sink into it here and reach it up and over. This long length. Sink into those hips as well. So make sure you've got a good bend in that knee. Take the hand behind the head. Oh, look up towards your elbow. Continuing to challenge the balance, as you can see. And then take it forward. Hinging at the hips, the hip creases, as you bring the hands underneath the shoulders. From here, we just create a nice side to side stretching and opening before we move on. We're not done yet. So from here, take it over to the opposite side. So you're going to turn and pivot, taking it into your downward facing dog once again. As you come into a high plank, you can do this high plank from your hands, or you can make it a hovering plank from your forearms. If your hands have had enough already, come on down to your forearms and keep your body fired up here. Fire up those legs. Get way up onto the balls of your feet, right where your toes connect. Lift the right leg out to the side. Bring it in and down. Left leg out, in, and down. When you do this, keep it going. Be very, very mindful of not swaying your body. You want to stay nice and still through the body, so the leg is the only thing moving. And bring it in. Bring those knees down. Take a pause. Stretch it back. Not too long though. Let's take it back. We want to keep those muscles fired up as we come into a hovering plank. As you reach ahead forward, again, you're firing up those legs. You can take your feet a little wider than hip width here. Reach your right arm forward. Take it to the side. Bring it forward. Bring it down. Left arm, side, forward, and down. Reach right, out, in, and down. Try not to twist your body as you do this. That's the tricky part. Come down to your knees if you need to. Last one. Bring those knees down. Come on all the way down. You can make a nice pillow here with your hands and rest your forehead or your ear in that spot. So from here, we're going to bring the knees wider apart, bringing the inside edges of the feet together. Maintain a tuck in your tailbone and a lift of your belly button. Keep your forehead down. Relax your upper body as much as you can. And from here, you're going to lift those thighs off the floor and lower them down. Lift and lower. Breathe in and out. So you breathe in at the bottom, breathe out to lift and lower. Again, you want to keep this as smooth as possible so you're not throwing your legs up. Instead, you're squeezing right in here. Squeezing in those hamstrings to get that lift going on. The next time you lift, you're going to hold it, lift it, lift, hold it. Let's pause. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, relax it. Just feel those legs melting down into the floor. So from here, I'm going to reach for my lightest weights, and feel free not to use weights, especially if your back is not very strong or you've had back issues and you're just working now to try to develop that strength in your back. So we're going to take the weight to the furthest point where you can still grip them as you reach the arms away, making sure. So think of your scapula as kind of like these big wings on your back that you're sliding down. And you want to keep them in place there. You're going to maintain a tuck of your tailbone, so that means your spine is going to stay as neutral as possible. As you take an inhale, use the exhale to lift the right arm. You can bring the tip of the nose to the floor. You can lift if you wish as you alternate side to side, or you can keep the head slightly lifted the whole time. Just making sure that your cervical spine and your neck always stays aligned with the rest of the spine. So you don't want to just jerk your head up so that you create a real kink in the back of your neck. Think of the skin at the back of your neck staying perfectly smooth. Side to side, reaching for more length and more height. Let's do one more to each side. Really extend long and high, bring it down, other side, reach and bring it down. Bring those hands to the top of the mat, and we're going to come into a nice half frog here. This is a great way to release the lower back. You can rest your opposite ear to the mat, just so it's really comfortable. So it adds a little bit of a twist, a nice opening to the hip, really good release. And then switch it over to the other side. So bring your other knee out to the side, other ear to those stacked hands. And as we extend it, let's roll over onto our side. So I'm going to go back to my medium weight here. I'm going to move this out of your way so that you can see nice and clearly as I use my medium weight. So I want to have a nice straight line with my body. So I'm going to be using my powerhouse to keep both of my hip bones stacked. My legs are stacked to begin with, but I'm going to step the bottom leg out in front of me, flexing that ankle, taking the weight as an option and placing it over my inner thigh. Now my back leg is going to bend, pointing that knee up and lifting the bottom leg. So as I hold on to that weight, I want to have as much of it as possible on the bottom leg. So I'm not holding, or I'm not supporting it with my hand at all. I'm just making sure that it stays balanced there. Again, that leg is staying straight, and I'm reaching through the heel in order to maintain a really nice extension length in that leg, lifting it up and down, keeping powerhouse on, using my breath to help me pace the movement. And then I'm going to hold it, lift it, hold it here, and I'm just going to pulse it out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. Bring a bend to the bottom leg, extend the top leg. Bring the weight, either the same one, heavier one, lighter one. It might be heavier if you go to a change because the outer leg is usually stronger, so keeping that ankle flexed as you lift and lower. Now notice where your toes are pointing. You don't want to turn them up to the ceiling. We want to really target the side of the hip here. If you turn the toes up, you then change the whole area that you're targeting. So we want to make sure we stay honoring to that outer thigh and using the gluteus medius here as well. We're going to use it even more shortly as we continue that up and down motion. It is still a very smooth gliding motion. And breathing in and out. And as we hold it lifted, hold it. You might feel a little shaking in the leg, that's okay. We're going to do teeny tiny little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down and bring a bend to that knee. The inner soles of the feet connect and we rotate it open. So you might have to kind of play around with where to put your weight here so that you get maximum weight and having to work those gluteus medius muscles, those rotators, that much more. They tend to be weak. So if you need to drop the weight and focus on the movement, go ahead. But notice my hips are not moving. The only thing that's moving is that thigh bone in the hip joint. That ball joint is moving here. And it's amazing just by adding a little bit of weight, these muscles do get fatigued very quickly. And one side, of course, always more noticeable than the other. So let's bring it all the way down, and from here you might want to kind of rub it out, tap it out a little bit, make sure that you have some sensation returning here, and we are going to roll over onto the other side. I'm just going to turn so that you can continue to see rather than looking on my back. And from here, finding alignment first. So again, powerhouse is on, and I'm going to bend the top leg, stepping it behind, taking that front leg slightly in front, taking the weight to it, flex the ankle. Oops, hands are very slippery. So you lift and lower. So again, remember, there's no bouncing on the bottom. There's no throwing of the leg up. It's more of a, if you think of it as a squeezing, it's kind of like you're lifting something open here with your bottom leg. So you're not throwing it up. You're really forcefully keeping all those muscles engaged. And if you find your weight is too light, you might want to use the two weights and increase the load if you're not feeling enough work on that inner thigh. So the inner thigh strength is really important for stability of your hips. So it's important to have flexibility in your hips and strength, and you want to have that strength evenly distributed. So you want to have strong glutes, you want to have strong inner, outer thighs, as well as front and backs. Quite often the hamstrings can end up being either extremely tight, or if you do a lot of yoga, sometimes those hamstrings can be very stretched out and not a lot of strength in them. So we want to be balanced through our body. So the next time you lift it up, you're going to hold it here, and we're going to pulse it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Let's take that top leg straight. Bottom one bends now as you place your weight there, flexing the ankle, lifting and lowering. Again, if you need to increase your weight, you can reach for the other one. So you've got two of them, but really using your own resistance. Of course, these are exercises that you don't need weight for at all. Becoming more in tune with your own resistance is going to go a long, long way in developing your muscles. Most of the work is in your mind, as with everything. It works in the mind, and the best muscles are in the kitchen. So that's where it starts. It's in your mind first, and then how you fuel your body is so important as well, especially when you've got the holiday season, which is going to be a little bit different this year, but nevertheless, it's typically a time for maybe indulging more, which is okay, but all good things in moderation. As you lift that leg, hold it here. Let's pulse it out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down, bend the leg. Let's move it into our clamshells. So adjust your weight accordingly and point that knee up. Keep those hips still. And it doesn't have to be a big movement to be effective. So keep that in mind. Sometimes we think that if we can get that leg up higher, we're going to get more. But sometimes what happens is the bigger your movement is, you then lose the concentration on the muscles that you're targeting. So be very aware of that. As we continue to open and close it here. And the side might be your easier side, might be your harder side, but as we continue to do these unilateral movements, you get closer to being more balanced on both sides. And we're going to finish it up right here. Bring that in once again. You can tap it out if you like and rub it out, get that blood flowing. From here, we roll onto our backs, bringing our, you're going to take either your medium weights. I'm going to go for my heaviest weights for this one. So if you start out with a certain weight, you find you can alter it, go ahead. But we're going to bring the weights up over top of the shoulders. From here, I'm going to bring my legs into a tabletop position. So shins are nice and level. And I'm going to reach the legs at the point where I'm not feeling any change in my spine, lifting the legs up and doing a little bit of a lift of the tailbone. So from here, bring the legs back, scooping them low and lifting up and bend. Scoop the legs and lift with a little reverse curl. So keep that going. Little squeeze and lift. And we've got another 3 of these. Last one right here. Bring it down to a bend and lower. Now holding on to one weight or 2 weights, I'm going to place my weight on my right shoulder, crossing my left ankle over top of my right thigh. So I'm creating a figure 4 with my leg and taking my left fingertips by the left ear. Taking a breath in as I exhale and reaching across with my right shoulder and back down again. Inhale. Exhale, reaching across, so working those oblique muscles, keeping that left elbow wide open. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one last one here on this side. 10. Bring it down, uncross. Cross the opposite ankle, switch that weight around to the other side. And here as well, I'm going to place fingertips by the ear. Keep that knee nice and open. Take a breath in. Exhale, reaching across and back down. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And we're halfway there on this one, so we have another 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. From here, taking one weight, you can bring it to the chest, and you can keep the feet on the floor, knees bent, or bring them to tabletop as you crunch up and down. For 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So really trying to close the gap between the bottom ribs and your hips. 7, 8, 9, last one. Bring it down, release, set your weight aside, and from here we're going to stretch. I just took a look at the time and we've used up most of it, so bring your feet a little wider apart. Microblade those legs side to side, massage through your waist and the hips. This feels amazing for the hips. Roll all the way over onto your right side. Take a hold of that top ankle and bring it in nice and close to you. You want to bring your heel towards your bottom. If you can't reach the foot, you can always grab your pant leg. If you want more, cross that bottom ankle on your top thigh. Turn your gaze if you want toward the ceiling. Slide that top shoulder away from you. And as you roll onto your back, you can keep that ankle crossed and bring your left knee in towards you. Great glute stretch here. And as you bring your left foot down, clasp the back of your right leg. Walk the hands up the leg, maybe stretch out your left leg long to really stretch into the hamstring, flex that ankle, and bend the knee and squeeze it in. From here, we roll over onto our opposite side, pulling the foot in again. Knee points away from you, crossing your ankle over top of your thigh, rolling that top shoulder away from you. And from here, once again, keeping that top ankle crossed, reach through, pull it in. Great glute stretch. As you release, extend the leg up, clasp the back of the leg. Pull it in. Stretch the leg long if you like. And as you bring the leg to the floor, reach both arms nice and long away from you. Stretch, take a hold of both of your elbows and slide the elbows toward the right edge of your mat. Walk the feet over to the right edge of your mat as well. Cross your left ankle on top. Look towards your left elbow. Keep pulling on it so that you stretch that tricep. And then let it go. Come back to the center. Walk your feet over to the left edge of the mat. Bring your head, your arms to the left edge as well. Pulling on your right elbow this time. Cross your right ankle on top. You'll feel that stretch all the way down the side of your body, into your triceps, into the hips, the IT band, all the way to your ankles. And then let it go. Bring both knees into the chest as you center. Rock side to side. Continuing to rock side to side or forward and back a few times, massaging the full length of the spine to come all the way up. From here you can come into cross-legged, a seated position that is comfortable for you. Take a big breath in. Exhale to bring your right hand down, lean up and over. Stretch, stretch, stretch through that arm. Again, take the hand to the back of the head in order to stretch those obliques. Reach up with both arms. Inhale, exhale to the other side. Reach up and across. Again, hand to the back of the head. Look to the elbow and bring both hands up. Bring the hands to the heart, interlace fingers. Press those palms away. Inhale, open through the chest. Bring the elbows back. Extend the arms, take the left one in front, wrap the right one around, palms together. Lift those elbows, bring the thumbs towards your forehead. Take a little bit of a bow here forward. Press your sit bones into the floor. Great stretch across that mid-back, upper back. Unwind and bring those arms wide again. Right one comes in front, left one winds, so opposite one this time. Same thing. Bringing those thumbs to that third eye and taking a dip forward. Opening up those knees, keeping sit bones glued down. Unwind it, inhale, reach up. Exhale, left hand comes forward, right hand comes back, look back. And inhale, center, switch to the other side. Inhale, center, look up. Exhale, hands to the heart. And Namaste.